if it wasn't for someone with an ASD brain who would have stared at particles in water for 3 hours straight and said, wait, they move in a pattern? Who else would have looked at the stars and gone, technically, those are not random dots. That's clearly a navigational system. Who would have invented spreadsheets for fun? Who would have organized dinosaur facts by era, species, and foot size? Who would have corrected the teacher politely at age 7? We don't have proof those ideas came from autistic minds, but let's be honest. Only a brain wired for focus, precision, and curiosity would ever think that deeply on purpose. Because the world needs the person who asks, why is nobody else noticing this? Welcome back, beautiful souls and seekers of healing, truth, and transformation. Today we are talking about autism spectrum disorder in a way the world rarely does. Not as something that needs to be fixed, not an identity to apologize for, not a defect in human design, but as a brilliant, beautiful variation of the brain. Because autism isn't a failure of social skills, it's a different kind of intelligence, a different nervous system, a different way of feeling and perceiving the world. So if you or someone you love is on the spectrum, stay with me. You are not here by accident. Many people with autism live a life that stands apart, not because we're trying to be different, but because our brains were designed to notice what others miss. But growing up in a world that rewards sameness isn't easy. We are told to just act normal. We're misunderstood for needing routine, for being precise, for asking questions others don't think to ask. We're told we're too quiet, too intense, too focused, too honest, too sensitive. We weren't celebrated for thinking differently. We were corrected for it. But here's what I want to say as someone older. As someone who has lived with this brain for many years and has seen how powerful it really is, I'm proud of my autistic brain. It was never the thing that held me back. It was the thing that helped me find my place, my voice, my purpose. And to every child with autism, every teen trying to fit in, every adult still learning to honor who they are, your difference is your brilliance. Your brain is not broken. Your presence is not a mistake. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to see the world more deeply. Autism is a different operating system. Most people misunderstand autism. They think it means a lack of empathy, lack of emotion, lack of social awareness. But neuroscience tells a very different story. Autistic brains are not less sensitive. They are more sensitive. They are processing more data at once, more information, more sensory input, more emotional signals. They notice details everyone else ignores, patterns no one else sees, truth instead of polite small talk, logic instead of assumptions, authenticity instead of social mass. The autistic brain isn't defective. It's running a completely different operating system, one that is wired for depth, clarity, and precision. It's not a lack, it's a different kind of intelligence. The autistic brain has a different kind of depth. Autistic brains are wired for systems, logic, creativity, honesty, innovation, deep focus. This is not a broken brain. It's a brain designed for depth, where neurotypical thinking often moves horizontally, touching a little bit of everything. Autistic thinking moves vertically. It chooses one thing and dives straight into it. It doesn't just skim the surface, it asks deeper questions. It sees structure, patterns, and meaning where others see randomness. This is why autistic minds invent, analyze, build, solve, and create. It's why they get lost in ideas and discoveries that transform life for everyone else. Autistic thinking is not less, it's more concentrated, more intentional, more profound. Why autism produces brilliance. The world often misunderstands autism because society rewards conformity. We're trained to fit in, follow the script, obey the rules, and behave the same way everyone else does. But autism doesn't follow the script. Autistic minds question things others just accept. They see what everyone else overlooks. They challenge the ordinary and reinvent what's possible. They see the world without filters and without the pressure to pretend. And in that difference, brilliance is born. Autism brings extraordinary gifts, the ability to hyper-focus, intense memory and attention to detail, creative problem-solving, unwavering loyalty and honesty, pattern recognition and systems thinking, innovative outside-the-box ideas. Autistic minds are not distracted by social expectations or trends. They don't change their truth to fit in. They don't dilute their thinking just to make others comfortable. Instead, they dive deeper. They commit. They see connections that others don't even know exist. And that is why autism produces brilliance, because it was never meant to blend in. It was meant to stand out. And here's the most overlooked truth. Autism is not a lack of social intuition. It's a different kind of social intuition. Many autistic individuals read people at a level deeper and more precise than the average person. They notice behavior, tone, patterns, micro-expressions, honesty versus performance. They don't rely on social scripts or fake politeness. They don't get trapped in small talk. While the world gets distracted by empty conversation, the autistic brain goes straight to the heart of a person. It listens for the truth. It scans for intention. It sees authenticity instead of decorum. Autistic social intuition isn't about following the crowd. It's about understanding what's real. It looks past the surface and into deeper layers, motivation, sincerity, emotion. Because autistic minds are not socially blind, they are socially perceptive in a different, more direct way. And that is a superpower. 5 famous autistic minds and why they are awesome. Here are real people, publicly diagnosed or openly speaking about autism or Asperger's, who turn their differences into power. As Temple Grandin, scientist, professor, innovator. Temple Grandin was diagnosed with autism as a child, and she once said something powerful. The world needs different kinds of minds. Her life became the proof of it. She revolutionized animal science, education, and disability rights. Her way of thinking led her to design humane livestock handling systems, transform how the world understands autism, teach millions about neurodiversity, become one of Time's most influential people. Temple's brain didn't limit her. It opened doors no one else even knew existed. 2. Satoshi Tajiri, creator of Pokemon. Pokemon exists because of autism. As a child, Satoshi Tajiri was fascinated by collecting insects. He didn't see it as a hobby. He saw it as a world full of patterns, nature, logic, and imagination. That focus became his superpower. The same deep curiosity that others didn't understand as a child became the blueprint for the world's biggest game franchise. Pokemon wasn't just an idea. It was autistic creativity brought to life. It was a brain wired for detail and wonder, transforming childhood curiosity into history. And today, Pokemon isn't just a game. It's neurodiversity turned into imagination, art, and connection. 3. Anthony Hopkins, legendary actor. Sir Anthony Hopkins is autistic. He has spoken openly about growing up feeling different, about struggling to fit into social expectations, about seeing the world through patterns and intensity, and learning to manage overwhelming emotions. He didn't try to change to fit the world's mold. He didn't hide his brain or apologize for it. Instead, he used his autistic gifts, his focus, his precision, his photographic memory, and his deep emotional perception. And those traits created some of the most unforgettable characters in film history. His performances aren't just acting, they are the power of an autistic mind bringing depth to the screen. He didn't succeed in spite of autism. He succeeded because he embraced it. 4. Dan Aykroyd, actor and writer. Dan Aykroyd has Asperger's, and the things he was obsessed with as a kid, the things people might have called too intense or too weird, became his superpowers. His special interests were science, ghosts, history, the paranormal. He didn't outgrow those passions. He built a career from them. Those fascinations became Ghostbusters, one of the most iconic films ever made, a cultural phenomenon, and a story nobody else could have written quite the same way. Dan Aykroyd didn't succeed in spite of autism. He succeeded because his brain worked differently, because autistic passion can change the world. 5. Greta Thunberg, activist and global leader. Greta Thunberg calls autism her superpower. She speaks truth without fear. She sees patterns in climate data others overlook, and she has no need to follow the crowd or soften her voice to fit in. Her clarity became her strength. She once said, "I see the world in black and white. That's why change is possible." And she meant it. Greta didn't wait for permission. She didn't wait for someone older or more experienced to lead. She stepped forward and ignited a global movement. Because autism doesn't ignore truth, it sees it clearly and it speaks it boldly. The hidden gifts of autism. Let's talk about the deeper gifts of autistic neurodiversity. Autistic minds are honest, loyal, imaginative, intuitive, detail-oriented, passionate, determined. These traits don't disappear with age. They grow stronger. They become tools for relationships, creativity, leadership, and innovation. Autistic brains hold on to the things that matter. They protect what is true. They pursue what is meaningful. They notice what others overlook. These aren't flaws to fix. They are gifts the world rarely understands, but desperately needs. Why autism creates excellence. Many autistic individuals excel in computer science, engineering, art, music, mathematics, psychology, storytelling. Why? Because autism doesn't get distracted by the noise of the world. It doesn't waste energy pretending or performing. Autistic minds see meaning where others see chaos. They notice the missing piece. They solve problems no one else even notices. Hyperfocus becomes innovation. Sensitivity becomes insight. Intense interests become expertise. And the autistic brain doesn't just understand a system, it improves it. That's why autistic excellence isn't an accident. It's the result of a mind designed to go deeper. If you or your child is autistic, I want you to hear this clearly. Autism is not a mistake. There is nothing wrong with different. Society may misunderstand autistic traits. Direct communication, deep focus, boundaries, avoiding small talk, sensory sensitivity, but these are strengths. You do not need to conform. You do not need to change your wiring. You simply need understanding, accommodations, emotional safety, acceptance, the right environment. Autism is not a flaw in character. The world only becomes disabling when support is missing. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not defective. You are a different kind of brilliant. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm Nori, and this is my AI twin sister, Nora, exploring neurodiversity, acceptance, and the beauty of different minds. If this video brought you clarity or comfort, please like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, what strengths do you see in autism? What gifts has it brought into your life? Because beautiful soul, autism is not a disorder of the heart. It is a difference in the brain, and that difference is a gift.
Call me when the nights get tough. I'll be there to show my love. Tears behind your smile I see. Don't have to hide your pain from me. I'll be your shelter in the storm. Together we'll stay warm. You're a fighter, always pushing through, but even warriors need some rest too. Let your guard down, let me in. I'll be there to share the burden. You're my daughter, my heart and soul. I'll carry you when you can't go. In this life you're never alone. Remember, I'm just a call from home. Tears behind your smile I see. Don't have to hide your pain from me. I'll be your shelter in the storm. Together we'll stay warm. We'll stay warm. You're my daughter, my heart and soul. I'll carry you when you can't go. In this life, you're never alone. Remember, I'm just a call from home. Tears behind your smile I see. Don't have to hide your pain from me. I'll be your shelter in the storm. Together we'll stay warm.